Hello and welcome to the Kel Toothpaste PO Show. Today's edition is the BizNet and the Discovery segment. As always, we are always excited when it comes to the BizNet and the Discovery segment because we get to learn, we get to interact with those who are making it in business in terms of phenomenal ladies, and also discover fresh talents as well who will inspire us as well to do giant strides. Then later, I'll bring you Dellasie. She is a model, a philanthropist, a business owner, and a musician as well. And she will be joining me for the Discovery segment. This is the Kel Toothpaste PO Show. I am MFR Paul. We're right back and we'll start talking. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the Kel Toothpaste PO Show. And with the BizNet segment just gone by, it's time for our Discovery segment for today. Dellasie, welcome.
Thank
to
you.
The Discovery segment on the PO Show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
What intrigues me about you the most is your campaign against skin bleaching in the entertainment industry. Let's talk about it.
This endeavor is really something that's close to me, that's very near to me, and something that I intend to dedicate my life to. So it's not just a phase or a project, but it's something that I believe it really deserves all of my dedication. And I started this initiative about 6 years ago. I had come to Ghana and Uncle Kofi Annan, he had a luncheon for the family. So we were there and he pulled me aside and he said, you know, Dellasie, your parents tell me you're doing all these great things in music and you're touring, you're going to Europe and Canada. That's wonderful. And he was like, I know everyone from Beyonce to Bono. So if you need any assistance, please let me know. And I was like, actually, you know, I'm glad that you asked me because I love doing music and I love performing. And I want to do more than just that. I really want to leave like a mark on this world or do something as inspiring as your career has been and help people in a way, maybe not on the scale that you have, but in my own way, you know, kind of help make this world better. And there's so many things that upset me about how the world is so unfair, you know, to some of us. And there's so many problems, like there's hunger and there's disease and there's inequalities and there's so many things that I'm passionate about. I don't know where to begin. And he said, well, my advice to you would be to go home, think of something that really makes you angry and use that energy, that vim, you know, to think of solutions and turn that energy into something positive that will push you in that direction. So I did just that. And one of the main things that struck me was colorism and how much it affects us. And I remember, you know, performing, and every time I would perform, there would be at least one or two young girls who look similar to my complexion who would say, please don't quit, please don't stop. We need girls that look like you. I mean, Beyonce and Rihanna are beautiful and they're great, but they don't fully represent the diversity of Blackness and Black women. And we need to really show that there's more beauty in all of our shades, you know? And that really inspired me. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna do something with this. So when I looked into colorism more, that's when I got into the skin bleaching, multinational corporations, and the harm and danger that skin bleaching can cause long term, which is skin cancer is one of those. There's actually many different diseases that come from that bleaching, but skin cancer was the thing that really got me because it's deadly, you know, and it's growing slowly, but it's growing. And I think now is the time to get a handle on it before seriously becomes a bigger problem.
As the niece of the late Kofi Annan, you'd say that you had that kind of break when it comes to thinking about what exactly you'd want to do. Maybe briefly, you can tell me how his influence has actually impacted you to the level that you are today.
We definitely grew up with him around. He's very, very close with my dad. So every, you know, year when we would have like parties, Christmas parties and stuff, I would always see him and his presence was always felt, you know. Even when I was very small, I wasn't sure just how important he was, but I knew that he was important because when he spoke, people were quiet and they listened, you know. And as I got older and I started to know, wow, this is a Secretary General of the United Nations, like he's a really big deal. And one of the things that really inspired me about him was his words were very purposefully and carefully chosen. And the things that he said, he was so passionate about it, and he used that passion to really make changes for people. That energy was what really inspired me so much. And I felt like this is something that I can do. Even if it's not on the scale to what he has done, I can still in my own way affect people, move people, emote and speak to people and get them involved or emboldened to, you know, join me in my initiative. So that was really just inspiring to watch his growth throughout his career. Yes.
Well, that's very inspiring, and you are very privileged, I should say. It's something you shouldn't take for granted at all. Well, but with a campaign, I'll choose to call it campaign for the purposes here, but I know that it goes beyond a campaign for you. How has it been so far? Would you say you've been able to turn a bit of things around?
In 2015, I was invited to speak at a high school, and that's actually where the work started from, because when I was talking to the kids and I saw how excited they were that I was there, and I was talking about music and some of the, you know, challenges and the struggles that I've gone through, I felt like, wow, I can really reach young people, and young people are the future generations that are going to be creating culture and pushing society forward. So these people really need to have a strong sensibility and a strong sense of self. So I branched out and started doing workshops with teens, about maybe 13 to 17 Black girls. And I would just sit and talk with them. And, you know, sometimes they can't always talk to their moms, and they don't always have somebody that they can relate to. So this platform was something we did on Saturdays, where they would just come. We would either like bake cookies or do crafting or something. And then while we are doing something, we would have these discussions. And colorism just kept coming up again and again. Peer pressure and, you know, pressure from, I guess, their male counterparts in terms of sex and things like that. So that really gave me some of the tools, like, wow, this is what young people are going through. These are the pressures that they're dealing with. This is how this can relate to the work that I'm doing with colorism and skin cancer and things like that. And then the next step was I started speaking at universities to bring awareness to this issue.
Let's talk about your other parts as well, as a philanthropist, as a model, as a business owner. How then do you juggle all this together with the music career and all?
Well, you know, I've learned in this digital age, it is almost a prerequisite that you must be multitasking. Especially, I think we've seen with the pandemic that, you know, you can have a job today and lose it tomorrow. So you have to really be vigilant in terms of your sources of income. And also, because we only have one life, and I know I have so many passions, I try to make my brand something that is multifaceted, so that every part of what I'm passionate about has a connection, and it all kind of works together for me. In terms of my business, my online business, it's quite easy because it's online. So I actually don't have to rent a shop and be in a store every single day in order to sell items. And because I'm so passionate about fashion, it's something that I'm always excited to do. In terms of being an artist, yes, being a music artist is very, very time consuming. And I've been doing it on a professional level for 8 years now. So I've done quite a bit of work in that area. And I think I came to a point in my career where I said, it's safe to branch off into a few different things because you've grown your network, you have performing experience, you've put together projects and albums and things of that nature. And I even have some that are unreleased that I'm working on campaigns and marketing campaigns to release them in the future. So that kind of gave me the leeway to branch off slightly into a few different areas. So I really enjoy the work that I do. I've always been a fashion girl, so having a store was perfectly on brand with who I am. And of course, because I love performing and moving people, being a philanthropist, being a public speaker, and being in that space was something I was already accustomed to, because I'm accustomed to being in front of crowds of people and performing for them and getting their emotions and things. And that's kind of what you have to do when you're campaigning for a cause. You have to kind of speak to people's emotions and get them excited about what you're talking about and hopefully get their support.
Let's take a look at You 360. It's called the Kill 360 segment here on the Kill Toothpaste Peel show, and is brought to you by by Kel 360 toothpaste, and with that cool minty fresh breath, you do that all the time, so you would need a Kel 360 to give you that fresh breath all day long, to go through what you do. It's FDA approved and is safe for the entire family from 6 all the way to 100. Let's take a look at Dellasie Inning 360.
Dellasie is a polymath artist, philanthropist, and CEO with Ghanaian roots who was born and raised in New York City. She relocated to Accra, Ghana, not long after participating in the Year of Return program organized by the government of Ghana. She's currently working on her music and philanthropy project, as well as running a thriving fashion business.
That's Dellasie. Very passionate about the things you do. But it's a name combination for me, Dellasie and Inning. Yes. I know Dellasie is supposed to be from Volta.
Yes.
Inning is Ashan. Maybe you should just break it down for me.
My mom is Ewe and my dad is Ashanti. So it's an interesting combination.
Wow. I see the clothing line. Original, what's the name of the fashion brand?
It's called Pana Love, and the idea came from me being a Pan-Africanist and having a love and a passion for fashion, so I brought that together to create Pana Love. So if anyone is interested, they can visit panalove.online and they can shop and see.
Get that. And yes. The bird whispered that apart from just recording singing, you rap as well.
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. I'm sure that before we go, we'll get a little bit of a rap from Dellasie. Yeah. Well, so apart from colorism, what next are we looking at?
Right now, I'm trying to fundraise because I would like to do a speaking tour, and I would like to initiate the speaking tour here in Ghana, go to some different regions and talk to young people in JSS and SSS and discuss some of the pressures and the things they're dealing with in terms of this issue. I know that this mentality starts from a very young age. So if you can talk to young people about this and get them on the right track mentally, then you might be able to prevent those behaviors in their adulthood. But right now I'm in the fundraising stage, so I'm trying to appeal to the medical community, oncologists, dermatologists, or just other philanthropists and humanitarians, or people with money who don't know where to place it. You can place it right here.
This with Dellasie. She put it to good use.
Yes, most certainly.
How supportive has family been, for instance, with a course that you've chosen?
Well, you know, it's a little tricky because in Africa, I know the belief system doesn't really align with creative careers. Yeah. And creative careers can be very risky because even if you get to a Michael Jackson level, there's no guarantee that next year you will be that consistent, or, you know, like today you're hot, tomorrow you're not. That's another reason why it was important for me to expand my brand into other areas, so that even if I'm not performing forever, there's other things that I can continue to do that have the longevity, you know. So that was definitely an important part. It took my parents quite some time before they came around, and I understand because most parents just want their children to have very financially secure professions like medicine or law, you know, things that are very dependable and needed. But eventually when they saw how dedicated I was and how many years I put into it, and they actually listened to things and was like, wow, this is quite good, then, you know, they were like, wow. They started telling their friends and stuff like, oh, you know, my daughter does this and that. And I was like, hey.
Now they believe. Yes. Well, that, I think I'm fully, you know, inspired in terms of multitasking, and because of the age that we are in, the digital age that we are in, such that you're not dependent on just one source of income. That's something I picked from my interaction with you, and going forward, I think that we need to take a look at it. But this is a platform also that gives you the opportunity to reach out to people you would ordinarily not be able to reach out to. Maybe it's a good time to look at them directly and tell them what they ought to know.
For everyone watching today, I'm hoping that some of what I said might have inspired you. If you're a young person and you might be affected by colorism, or you might feel insecure about your looks, just know that God made us all the way we are for a very, very good reason. And you're perfect just how you are. You don't have to feel pressure from society or from anyone else to change the way you look or your melanin or your complexion. You're a beautiful child of God. As we all are. And I hope that anything you're passionate about in life, you have the bravery to go for it, because you only get one life and you don't want to feel that it was wasted. So make sure that you go for your goals, your dreams, and always be inspired.
Well, Dellasie, let me just take a walk into, or you would take us on that walk or journey into your education and growing up and how it was like.
I grew up in New York City, and I attended the United Nations International School. So I first entered at grade 2, and I actually went all the way through to the end of high school. So I grew up in a very diverse environment, and I think this is part of what made me so passionate about equality and, you know, people loving themselves, because those were the kinds of things that was reiterated throughout our whole childhood as we were growing up. And then for my undergraduate university, I attended Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I studied political science and marketing. And then once I graduated from there, I started working like almost immediately after. So I actually did not continue my education, but my parents weren't too happy about that.
But be a doctor, like
yes, yeah.
PhD.
Yeah, they wanted me to go to law school actually, but I ended up working for BET, Black Entertainment Television. Okay. I ended up doing marketing at BET instead. So slightly different path.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So the music career, for instance, and the 8-year journey that you've been on, I'm sure there's some highs,
yes,
some lows that you would want to take us through.
One of the highs for me could be performing here for almost 30,000 people at S concerts. This was like 3 years ago or so. That was really exciting. You know, all artists, when you start out, you say to yourself, would anybody at all even enjoy this, what I'm doing, you know? And you go from that stage to performing for thousands of people. It really is, it's an amazing journey. There's so many ups and downs, so many. And it takes a lot of years of dedication. And there's a lot of people who discourage you, you know, because making it in music is almost like winning the lottery. But if you're smart, you can have a music career, and maybe you don't want to be like Beyonce, you know, maybe you want to be like those artists who are less known, but they make really good money. They license their music in department stores and films, and they do alternative things, not the traditional routes, but they go different ways to get their music out there and to get their music heard and consumed. I think I'm one of those artists. It never appealed to me to be some big superstar. They go under a lot of pressure, and it just seems like it takes the joy out of music. You know, I don't ever want to get to that place where I'm no longer enjoying what I'm doing. So I think at the place that I am, if I go in that direction with licensing and things, it will be really great for me. Yes.
Well, that's really inspiring. But I haven't forgotten about my rap.
Hey.
We'll get it as we are going out of the segment today.
Okay.
But as we do here on the Phenomenal Lady Show, we have the Kel toothpaste range of products. Is the Kel Charcoal, the Kel 360, and the Kel Kids toothpaste.
Nice.
Kel Charcoal. I don't know. You didn't grow up here in Ghana too much, but it has charcoal. So it gives you that white teeth.
Yes.
You don't need to grind charcoal and like we used to do
Yes.
in there.
Yeah,
And the Kel 360 has the minty taste, fresh breath all day. And the Kel Kids, I'm sure you can give it to the nephews and nieces.
Yes, of
It's
course.
strawberry flavored, and it makes brushing time always a fun time. And with
Nice.
Kel, we give you the happy smiles.
Goodness.
So this is from us to you.
Oh,
And I'm sure you would want to have the charcoal. And
Yes. Thank you.
like Kel 360 as well. It's a good time to model as well.
Yes.
And give us that happy smile. And that's it for the Kel Toothpaste PR show. My guest today on the business segment, Mary Usu. And then now, Dellasie Inning, philanthropist, model, business owner. And
Yes.
then music.
Yes.
She'll wrap us away.
Do a little two-step. Yeah, rep it for your whole set. I don't want you to rest. Make the beat pump, pump, pump out your chest. Ha! Make up scatter for the dance floor. DJ run that back, spin it once more. You know dance, chale, what you came for. That'll be you a bong thing. I'm bored, but the hey.
Thank you very much. And that's it for the Kill Toothpaste PO show. Another edition will come your way same time. I am Memefa Po, and this is the Kill Toothpaste PO show.
Love is sweet, pass sobolo, sobolo the sweet, K-O-B-I, Wodona Kama commemorate, paint, smile, mami, chanche, faint, kron kron radio.